work primarily into the SAP Business Technology Platform as of now, and I have done 4 implementation projects specifically to BTP side, and I'm also responsible for overseeing ERP projects like digital transformation project to the SAP side. Now, I believe we all are here for the business technology platform, or BTP in short, right? So before I start, can I have a brief background of yours, like what you are exactly looking for, what is your technical background? Maybe G. Ashish, you can start. Or
Yeah, Abhi, sure. Abhi, actually, I'm from functional. I am having 2 years of experience where I handle uh, SD, WM. So I'm looking for BTP from functional end. How can
BTP from functional side, okay.
right? So I want to make sure that I'm with the technology and having a good understanding of technical also.
Okay.
But I want to understand whether I can take up the BTP with respect to functional and means how is will it be useful or how uh, would be useful for me?
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
I hope we'll be able to answer some of your questions. So thank you. Ashish, right?
Right, Ashish.
Yeah, yeah. Ramana? Ramana, you able to hear me?
Ramna, you're in mute if you're talking. Or meanwhile, Virendra, you're there.
Virendra?
Yeah, Abhi, I'm here.
Yeah, Virendra. So can
Yeah.
I have a brief introduction?
Sure thing. I have worked on SAP technical side for quite a long time, and
Mm-hmm.
I have been hearing about this BTP for an year. Just wanted to see, what the BTP is, how we can leverage in our systems here, Abhi, just to get an understanding on that. And we are in a journey of S4 anyway, so I'm
Hello.
just thinking.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay. So in technical side, you worked on ABAP or anything else?
ABAP, PI, yeah.
ABAP and
Hello.
PI. Yes. Thanks.
Can someone
Virendra.
hear me?
Thanks, Abhi.
Yeah, Ramana, we can hear you. Ramana, you may speak now.
Okay, looks like he's not able to hear us. I'll ask him to join back again.
Sure, sure, sure. Let's give it a minute or two for Ramana. Then.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, Ramana, you can hear
Okay.
me.
Yeah.
So can I have your brief introduction, Ramana?
Yeah. So basically, I'm SAP ABAP developer plus native HANA modeling also I did. Also, I know UFI Fury, like I'm working on UFI Fury too, and BTP I worked a bit, not much. So
Okay.
this training, I'm specifically looking for few topics on BTP CAPM area.
CAPM, sorry.
CAPM, or I don't know what exactly you are going to cover in this, but yeah, I just want to hear from you. And definitely, I don't want like what is BTP, what is a global account, as a sub account, all those things I don't want. And I don't want like how to create CAPM service and all those things also I don't want. So I'm mainly looking for like how to create resilient application, like using the advanced topic like timeout things and all.
Mm-hmm.
And if possible, like the cloud SDK.
Cloud
Okay.
SDK, okay.
Yeah, SDK in the sense like suppose if you are connecting to the S4 backend system, so during post calls we need OAuth token, right? OAuth token we need. That token we need to pass it to post call. First we need to have a get call, then post call. So such kind of scenario, and definitely we have say I think for specifically Cloud SDK and all, SAP delivering mostly into TypeScript and SJS, most of the packages rather than direct Node.js. So if possible, yeah, TypeScript and SJS kind based topics also, if you cover that would be fine. And also the multi-tenancy SaaS application, like suppose if you take SuccessFactors or Ariba, which is a cloud SaaS application, wherein they might be hosting in a specific, I think the application is developed and then it can be hosted on it can be hosted on any cloud portal. I think provider. Okay, so such kind of SaaS application development, multi-tenancy SaaS application development. Okay, so these kind of advanced topics I am looking for, definitely not basic ones.
Okay, so I got the gist. So you are more looking into the advanced side. Okay, so thank you, Ramana. So just to give you an idea about what exactly we are covering up today, because this is more like a generic session, and Ramana, you may find it quite basic as of now, specific to this particular in this particular session, right? But we have some advanced topics also. I'll be discussing that too as well, right?
Okay.
So what we'll do is just so that everyone should be on the same page, right? So we'll just start with the why BTP part, right? And so that I'll try to address Ashish and Virendra's query, and gradually we'll move to yours, Ramana, as well. Like what are the things that is available, right? And see if it makes sense to you. Will that be okay?
Yeah, please go ahead. But yeah, definitely I'm looking for the advanced topics. So I just want to hear from you specifically.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll just skip few of the things, right? But just to give you an idea about why BTP, right? And then there I'll directly jump into the service catalog and just quick walkthrough of the BTP account. And then we'll be followed up with a question answer session, right? So where I'll be happy to address some of those questions that you are asking as well, right? So please bear with me for 10 more minutes, right? And after that, I'll be open it up to the question session, right? Okay, so why BTP? Now, everyone, at least one thing is common that you all are aware of BTP is, right? Business Technology Platform, and it is gaining rapidly in SAP landscape. A lot of companies are now embracing and adopting to the SAP BTP environment, right? Now, most important part is that why BTP is important or why we want to learn BTP. As Ramana mentioned that, okay, he is more interested into the advanced topic, and Ashish is from the functional background side. He wants to get an awareness of what exactly BTP is, how from the functional perspective it's going to help. And then we have Virendra as well, who is having mostly worked on to the ABAP and the PI side, but he's also interested. He also wants to check what are the capabilities that BTP offers and how it can take his career upwards, right? So we all are here because we want to learn something new and we want to make sure that we are learning the right thing and it is going to push towards our career growth, right? That is the main objective of that. Now, why BTP is important here is because I hope my slides are open. You able to see my screen? Can anyone please confirm?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Abhi.
Yeah. Okay. So now this is pretty much very important here that what BTP is. So BTP is not a ERP, right? So it is a platform. Now, when we talk about from the cloud perspective, you might already know that cloud has there are different type of cloud environments. One is infrastructure as a service, then we have platform as a service, then we have software as a service at a very broad level, right? So when we talk about infrastructure as a service model, we are referring mostly to AWS, Azure, Google, or Alibaba, right? So these are some of the you can say service provider or cloud providers who offers structures, right? So you can install your servers on AWS virtual environments and use that, right? Another one is your platform as a service, where this BTP environment falls into this particular category. Now it is a platform. What it means is that it gives you a complete development environment, right? So what it means is that you have data and analytics also within the platform. So it provides you HANA and analytics services, right? So that is one part of it, one area which I think Ramana, you have also HANA experience, right? And Virendra also has some HANA experience, right? So that is data and analytics is one such area. Then there is a artificial intelligence. So we have within HANA also SAP is working toward the KI-based models, that is conversational AIs and all, right? So that gives you a AI, and there is a Leonardo integrations as well. Earlier it was known as Leonardo. That is one part of it. Then there is a third aspect of this platform is application development. Now, from the application side, there are three environments that we have currently with the BTP side. One is your CAP-based model or CAPM model, which is cloud application programming. The second one is your RESTful ABAP model, that is RAP-based model. And the third one is Karma, and you can actually create your own environments as well, right? So you have Kubernetes engines. Based upon that, you can write containerized applications as well, right? In addition to that, you can also develop mobile applications, smart applications over there, and you can also develop UI and Fiori applications, right? So it offers those capabilities as well. Now, the fourth part is very important, that is automation also. So it does provide automation capabilities, RPA and 3AI. That is another service that can be used for the automation. So robotic process automation, right? So BTP has one IRPA services as well. In addition to that, there are workflows as well, right? And then comes the final piece, which is very important again, which is integration part. So it has cloud integration services, that is CPI. And this is another area which is growing rapidly. So in a nutshell, you can see there are 5 different aspects of BTP environment. So we have like automation capabilities, which covers your process automations and technical operations, right? DevOps operations. You have integrations, which helps you in connecting with other landscapes as well. Data analytics gives you a more insights about the data, which gives you a machine learning kind of flavor as well. AI and machine learning, AI part I've already explained, and then the application development. Now, from Ashish perspective, right? So if I talk about Ashish perspective only, so because he is from the functional background and he is more interested in knowing what are the BTP capabilities are, right? In terms of software as a service, that is SaaS-based model. So Ashish, to answer your question, we have S/4HANA Cloud, which is entirely built on the BTP environment. Now, sometimes what happens is you want to extend or customize some of the standard offerings that SAP S/4HANA offers. So where exactly you do that, or where exactly you write those code, or how you will extend that is part of your BTP. So basically, BTP environment provides an extended development environment for S/4HANA Cloud or S/4HANA on-prem system as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but one more thing is, as such, it is a bland environment. So if you just buy a new BTP environment, you will not see any business process over there. You will not see any standard tables, just like you see in S/4HANA, right? But it just gives you a plain vanilla platform. So whatever you want to develop or whatever you want to extend, right, that needs to be done by the developers like Virendra and Ramana. So you give inputs to Virendra and Ramana, and they will be able to develop those solutions for you, right?
Okay.
So from functional perspective, if you are like, it is good to know about general capabilities of BTP, like what are the various capabilities that it offers, so that you can, because functionals are generally more closer to the business, right? So they can address or they can guide business that, okay, these are the things that is actually going to possible using BTP environment, right? Or how we can enhance some of the features of standard application using BTP environment, because most of the companies now are embracing BTP side, right? And that is very much clear with the quarterly results that SAP is publishing, right? So you will see that their quarterly cloud revenue is going up quarter by quarter basis. Right. Now, some of these benefits, so again, just to cut a long story short, it gives you a complete end-to-end entire platform, which gives you more digital functionalities or features, which is that was available in on-prem system, right? It is cost effective. It is you can develop polyglot applications. So polyglot applications means that you can develop here using any kind of cloud infrastructure, keeping any kind of cloud infrastructure in mind. Right. Now, this is a basic concept, and Ramana, you're probably already aware of that, but just for the benefit of all, this is a typical setup that we have in BTP environment. So Virendra, we have a global account. Okay, so one customer has generally one global account, and within that you can create many sub accounts, but it is not a hard and fast rule. So you can have more global accounts also, right? So you can define, depending upon the different line of businesses, you can define these global accounts, right? And each account has certain entitlements. So entitlements gives you like what kind of services you can use, right? And then you can create your sub accounts. So sub accounts are more like think about more like a technical environments where you can define what type of environment you are going to use, whether you are going to use HANA system or Cloud Foundry environment, or whether you also need a WAP environment for that, right? So based upon that, you can develop sub accounts, and it is on the sub accounts we provide certain services or applications which your business users gonna access. So let's say you have a portal. Okay, so portal is part of the sub account, one of the sub account, and your UI applications are deployed onto the portal side so that your business user can access portal and then finally access your applications. Right. So at a very top level, it is global account, and within global account you can have sub accounts. So generally we have like dev environment, dev sub account, QA sub account, and finally the production sub accounts as well. So is this point clear so far?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now this is how it becomes interesting now. My screen is still visible, right?
Yes, Abhi, it's visible.
Yeah. So now you can see that this is a modular suite. So what are the basic architecture of, what are the capabilities of BTP environment? Now this is an old picture, but most of the things you will find is the same, right? So on the left hand side, you will see there are programming models. So we have HTML5, XSJS, XS Advanced, Java, Node.js, even Python is also there, and community build packs are also supported. So the long-term goal of cloud platform is that it is bring your own language, right? So it gives you a technology agnostic or a language agnostic platform, and you can develop your own application in any language, right? That's the ultimate goal. Within that, you will see there are certain services. So we have certain data storage services at the very bottom, which is, then you have platform services, and then finally you have certain business services, right? Now, if I talk about the data services, you will see a lot of database kind of services, which is useful for the data and analytics part, right? Now, platform services is something which is upon which we can actually develop our application. So it falls under your integration, mobility, user experience, security, IoTs, right? So these are some of the platform services. And ultimately, it is the business services. So sometimes we have, you will see there are certain applications. Now, this is maybe something interesting for for Ashish, right? So there are some standard services which you can use as it is, right? So there are localization in the taxation services which you can use, and I'll show you in the in the actual scenarios. Okay. Now this is the BTP services, right? So now this is your BTP services service discovery model. So we'll talk about BTP service discovery. So how exactly it is gonna help, right? So let me share. Right, so this is my BTP trial account, right? And in that, you can actually have your own trial accounts. It is free. 90 days access is free. So what you can do is you can just get a feel of what are the things that is available within this trial account, right? So once you go to the trial account, you will see that this is my global account. So you have a global account. Let's see this. And within this global accounts, you can have as many accounts. Now this is trial, so you have obviously certain restrictions, but in the productive environments, you can have, depending upon your entitlements or depending upon how much you have paid for the services, you can always see more and more services over there, right? Now within the trial account, you will see there are certain services, right? So you can see here, this is my Cloud Foundry environment, and here I have created a web service, right? So if I go to instances and subscriptions, right? So here I have created my development of app environment. Now let's talk about RAP first, right? Which I believe is more suitable for Ashish and Virendra, right? Because this is where most of the S4HANA cloud applications are getting extended, right? Or even S4HANA extensions are getting now extended using a RAP model, right? So what it provides is it provides you a complete ABAP cloud environment. So similarly, whatever you do in S4HANA, new S4HANA, I think 821 version onwards, it is RAP-based programming that is being supported, right? So it is the RAP-based programming that we do in S4HANA environment, whether it is on-prem system or on cloud system. So you can develop your entire solution here. But interestingly, now this is very important also for Ashish perspective as well. So Ashish, it provides you a ABAP environment, but it does not give you any standard SAP tables. Like you will not find certain tables like Mara or right VBAC or master tables. Like these kind of tables you will not find into the these ABAP environment. So these tables are part of the ERP, right? You can extend it, you can create your own, or if you have a S4HANA cloud, you can actually use that. So in S4HANA cloud, there are certain tables, right? But in this dev environment, there are no. There are some standard tables, but mostly those tables are for the technical purpose, not the business purpose, right? So this is a very important point from the functional perspective as well. But what actually you can do here is, suppose if you want to extend a purchase order application, so you are developing a new entire feature of S4HANA system, right? And you want to develop something. So earlier you used to do that directly into the S4HANA system. But now what SAP recommends, develop your extension scenarios or extended applications into the BTP ABAP environment. So your ABAP will connect with the S4HANA system and get the data as and when required, right? So there are different landscapes, there are different architectural scenarios based upon which we can develop these applications. So as of now, I'm not going into too deep into those, but just to give you a more functional aspect of this environment is where you will be working closely or more related with S4HANA and the, you can say, S4HANA cloud. So both S4HANA on-prem or on-cloud version, right? Another thing that you can do is, Ashish, that there is a S4HANA cloud service available. It is free. 14 days access is free, right? So just enroll yourself into the S4HANA Cloud, and it will give you certain application walkthroughs, right?
Okay.
See from the functional perspective what exactly these applications are offer, and you will see this is a software as a service model that we are now referring, because S4HANA Cloud is software as a service. It is a ERP as a service, basically S4HANA as a service, right?
Right.
So purchase order, if you are creating in S4HANA Cloud, it is common for everyone, right? But suppose for one customer, right, he wants something extra into the S4HANA Cloud, right, in purchase order application. So where you will extend those applications. So those extensions you will write into this ABAP environment. Okay. So that's the functional part of it. Now, from the developer's perspective, this development ABAP, developer ABAP, this is entirely RAP based. So in SAP, in BTP environment, there are two programming models that generally follows, right? So one is a RAP based model, another one is CAP based model, which Ramana was talking about, right? So CAP is non-ABAP environment as of now, and RAP is ABAP specific environment, right? So if you have a strong ABAP experience, if you are very much comfortable with object-oriented ABAP and all, so RAP will become a natural choice for you. And SAP is now making RAP or making ABAP environment development, this ABAP cloud environment. They are also investing more into this particular, because this is ABAP is their baby, right? So it is something which they are committed to promote, right? As a matter of fact, I have seen two major projects, right, which is the cloud native project, which is built entirely into the ABAP environment, right? So this has, if you are from the ABAP background, so RAP ABAP becomes a obvious choice for you. Okay. Now, what exactly this ABAP environment provides? How different than it is CAP-based environment, which now I'm gonna specify. So RAP environment, you will get ABAP development environment as well as HANA system in one go, right? So it is tightly coupled. You cannot access ABAP HANA without writing ABAP services, right? So that is the major difference when we talk about RAP and the CAP model. In CAP model, you have a different development environment and a different database environment, but which gives you more granularity, right? That means that it is loosely coupled. But in a BAP environment, your persistent service and your runtime services both are tightly coupled. Okay, so this is the purpose of a BAP environment, right? Any questions so far related to a BAP side?
But then if we do RAP services, so then we need ABAP environment, right? It's mandatory. And also, if you go with CAP, then I think it's any cloud pod can be like we can deploy it in any cloud pod, right? But in case of RAP, it should be SAP BTP only. So that is a disadvantage we have it, right?
No, see, if we talk about the CAP model, right? So now it's Ramana, right?
Yeah.
Ramana.
Yes.
So CAP model is CAP and the RAP. Both models are specific to BTP environment itself, right? BTP environment internally, which kind of infrastructure you want to use, it entirely depends on you. So like in this particular case, if you see here,
I mean, what I said is like my point is, say, CAPM either we use mostly Node.js or else Java. Most of the cases.
Yeah.
Of course, we can go with other languages also. Whereas these languages are supported in even direct AWS or Azure or GCP, even directly if you deploy also, because those build packs will be available there. So those apps we can also deploy over there.
Yeah. Okay. So from your point of view, now I got your point. So CAP based and RAP based, right? So this is, believe me, I have faced a very hard time, okay, in differentiating these two services, and sometimes it's become very difficult to convince clients also which is best for you, right? Now, my understanding, my point of view is, or my experience with the CAP based model is, right, that CAP based is more open source, because you are using open source languages like Node.js and the Java, and ABAP is more proprietary language, which is SAP side. But even ABAP environment is also a Cloud Foundry environment itself, right? It is built, the entire environment is built upon the Cloud Foundry environment. So if you see here, it is my Cloud Foundry environment, right? What they give you is, it's a service which they have given you, right? Now, as of now, this environment is only available within BTP side or through BTP. But ultimately, this environment, this dev ABAP environment, is actually created into the AWS. See this, it has created into the AWS environment only, right? So whether you use Node.js or Java or ABAP, AWS is going to support everything.
Correct.
Right. Now the only difference what I found is, it depends upon for which client you are making it. What I have observed is, now I may be wrong here, but whatever I have seen in my last 4 or 5 years, that customers are still going through using RAP-based model. The reason for that is, which I found, that they already have ABAP resources. They are still getting used to the new open source technologies and all, right? So if I have a ABAP resources sitting with my company, or if I have certain, let's say 10 different ABAPers in my team, for me it becomes more easy to switch to the RAP-based model instead of the CAP-based model and hire new people from the market, right? But parallelly, I have also seen that the companies who are non-SAP primarily, or who are more into the product-based companies who have their own products, right? They are actually more inclined towards the CAPM-based model, right? And I will not divulge my client's name here, but there are 2 clients which I know. Their product team is entirely worked onto the CAP-based model. So they are building products about these SAP services, right? Multi-tenant applications they are building, and their preferred mode is CAPM-based model, and that too within CAPM only they are using Node.js as well, right? So because they have their teams, right? So they have their teams, they can invest, they can rely upon those teams, and then they can start with this. Another aspect of CAPM versus RAP, which I found is, in CAPM-based models, your database is independent. It is not tied to your application environment or runtime environment, right? So you have a database using services. You are connecting those connecting to the HANA database, right? So what you can do is, you can still write your SQL procedures, your modelings directly. You can do it, right? And then you can expose those services to Power BI, and then write a nice dashboards over it, which is somehow I find missing in ABAP environment, because you cannot directly expose HANA system, right? So database is not directly exposed. It is exposed only through ABAP service. That is the major difference. Does it make sense?
I mean, even in CAP also, we don't directly expose it, right? We create a CAP service on top of DB artifacts.
See, if you talk about database as a service, HANA database as a service, that itself becomes as it is coming as a service, separate service, right?
Yeah, correct. Of course, I can do HANA Cloud programming also.
Exactly. So you don't need it. So actually, practically, you don't need that.
Okay, you mean to say like CV calculation use and all, or procedures and all, I can directly write on top of it.
That's what I'm referring.
Okay.
In ABAP HANA, you cannot do that. Though you have HANA system, right?
Yeah, we have to create your CDS views and top of it behavior definition and then projection, and then service definition and binding. All those things you need. Yeah.
Right. So that's the major thing, because at least in CAPM model, you can have your database as a service, right? That is independent service at all. Your Node.js service is entirely separate. And if you think CAPM versus RAP, both follow the same methodology, both follow the same framework. The only difference is underlying language. That's it. So there also you have behavior definition. There also you create your services. You can also write ACLs, right? So all these things you write. in both the environments, whether it is CAP or CAP. Okay. And multi-tenant applications, for that, I find CAP is more suitable, you can say. Not suitable, suitable is not the right word, but from the product perspective, I have seen that, okay, it is naturally, they have natural inclination towards CAPM model. While BTP, this RAP-based model, they are more extension scenarios that they are doing currently, not the complete end-to-end product. But again, there is an exception. There is one client who has developed entire solution into BTP ABAP, which caters to the, I think, 20 different countries, close to 50,000 plus users, right? And it is a single tenant, not multi-tenant. Okay, so this is a typical BTP, and their capabilities are. Now let me just open up Discovery Center, because I see I have three people from entirely different background and different expectations, right? So we may have to create a separate courses for all of those three, right? But okay, let me go to the service catalog first. So now coming to Ashish first.
Okay.
Ashish, for you,
Yeah.
because you are mostly from the functional background, right? So for you,
Right.
the course should be around a generic overview of BTP from the functional perspective, right? Its
Right.
capabilities, what are the services it offers, and how I can use those services, or how I can sell those services, right, to the customer.
Right.
That is more important, because ultimately you are not going to write code over there, right?
Got it. Got
So
it.
from your perspective, I think that is what you are looking for, right?
Yeah. And at the same time, if anything, the other person, when I interact with the technical, I should be giving some add-ons to him before he gets something. If I could provide something additional with respect to technical, he would be more happy. Means he would be more cooperating with me to get the
I
things
Yes.
more better way, right?
I don't think so. Functional side, in BTP prospect, we can provide some information. So most
Okay.
probably you may provide like what table and fields required for the process, and also in case APIs are available, then API name you can provide. I don't think so more
Okay.
than that, or else logics like what
I
yeah.
differ here. I beg to differ here.
Okay.
Functionals plays a very crucial role, because I have seen that in
Okay.
active projects as well. Now it
Okay.
depends. It varies individual to individual, but
Mhm.
if you are more into the client-facing role, sometimes you have to be very much aware of what kind of environment you are dealing with, right? Not from the business side, but from the technical side. Not at the detail level, but at the very top level. So I remember one specific instance where my functional, okay, my business analyst, we don't call them functional, my business analyst, he was quite puzzled when we tried to explain him the notification channel features, right? Because he is still from the old school side. Okay, he haven't even worked onto the Fury side, right? So it was more like, okay, how it's gonna work and all, right? So we have spent a lot of time convincing that person, and that person was very crucial for the to give a go ahead, right? So if he knows about these things, it would be very easy to talk in that common language, right? I
Yeah,
agree. From the
that's
table
true.
side,
Yeah.
yeah, from the table side, it may not work, like event driven. Okay, so you see here, I have this particular service, advanced event mesh, right? Now this particular service can help you in synchronizing your on-prem system and the cloud system, in transferring data from on-prem to the cloud, or cloud to on-prem system. Now, if someone technical person says, okay, it is not possible, but functional says, okay, I have seen that it is possible. You may just need to dig out event mesh side or something like that, right? So good to know. From it depends, like what exactly you're looking out of this particular course, right?
Good.
But it is not something about business processes and all. So this is just a platform generic environment like that we are gonna talk.
Yeah,
And
maybe I can add
yeah.
one point to it. Maybe they might functional perspective, they can know no code, low code tools like SAP build, like
Build
that
tools are
maybe
also
they
there.
can. Yeah.
Build tools are there, right? So they can use that.
Yeah.
Mock-up screens they can develop.
Yeah.
So
Correct.
there are still certain features which they can use, but mostly what I found is functionals are more closer to the business, right? So if they know these things, for them it will be very easy in the UAT in the testing phase, right? So to convince, because no matter how hard your scope is written, ultimately you will always find something X in UAT, and at that time, no matter how technically strong you are, it's the functional who plays a very crucial role in convincing the business.
Correct. Correct.
Got it. And one more thing, just to add that one, if we know the functionalities, if there is anything when we are discussing with the client, I can put, okay, these things we can do it as they would not be doing, right? What we would be having. So we can
Yeah,
just an overview. Okay, see these things we can do from our technical end. These
right.
are the things, add-on functionalities which we can give.
Exactly. So from functional perspective, it is mostly comes to why and what, right? That
Right.
is because you are not interested about how. Anyways, you are not going to create a BAP environment. You are not going to develop a program in a BAP environment, right? How part is different thing.
Right.
From functional side or from the architecture perspective, why and what we are doing it, right?
Okay.
That is important
Right.
side. So from your side, I think this is how the code should look like. Virendra, Virendra.
Looks like he dropped off for something.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Then maybe we are with Ramana only. So Ramana, you have already mentioned and you have done couple of things, right? So I'm puzzled. What exactly you might be interested in? You have ABAP, HANA, UI, BTP, CAPM. You have also done Cloud
Yeah.
SDK. Okay, you mentioned about Cloud SDK side from the CAPM side, but just word because I'm CAPM side. I am not a Java expert, so I have done my
No,
application
I
from the
don't want
Node.js
Java.
perspective.
I don't
Yeah.
want Java. I want Node only.
Yeah.
Node and TypeScript and SJS. These concepts.
Yeah. And then their multi-tenancy applications perfectly fine. So there is a workflows. There are security aspects of that. Are you interested in those as well, or?
That's what like what exactly you're going to cover. Just let me know. So accordingly, I'll if it looks fine
Yeah,
for me,
see,
then I'll.
for me, all these are different. So if I'm going into the workflow side, so that means it is a process automation that we are talking
Yes.
about, right?
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
there is entirely different program for that, right? Then if you talk
I think
about
workflow it will be Node.js only, right? I mean JavaScript.
workflow is Node.js, JavaScript, and not only that, there are certain configurations also, right?
Okay.
And it becomes because if there is a workflow course, if it is a process automation workflow course, let's talk about, right? So if it is a workflow course, then at the very center it will be a workflow, and then we will see how it gets integrated with other things, right? So now how it can be integrated with Fiori, how it can be integrated with your background services, how it can be integrated with your third-party applications, what are the DevOps, what are the monitoring of that, how you're going to configure the workflows, right? How it's going to interact with the process visibility, what are the various features of that. So all these factors we will be considering, but at the core, it will be workflows. So
You mean to
focus
say
will be
BTP workflow, right? You mean to say BTP
BTP
workflow?
BTP
Okay.
workflow I'm talking about only, not the on-prem workflow, right?
Okay. Okay.
Now, if I talk about event mesh, let's say the event mesh.
Event mesh I don't need. Event mesh I don't need. I know the concepts. I don't need event mesh.
Okay. A BAP environment is RAP-based programming. I'm not sure whether you are looking into
That
that.
also I don't. That also I don't need.
So then there becomes your security. So in security part, you have IPS provisioning, SAP security, BTP security side. You have authentication services, single sign-on, how you're gonna connect your BAP in cloud environment to the on-prem environment, what exactly the SSOs, how the token exchange works, right? All these things we talk about that into the security. So it is entirely a different part because the focus is more into the security side. It is a config admin as well as little bit of coding. Little bit of coding is required for that, but not much.
Okay.
Right. Then comes our Cloud Foundry uh, environment, which is UI and Fiori side, right? So that means the focus is onto the UI side. And when we talk about UI, it is like web-based UI or the mobile-based UI, right?
So
Then
UFI anyway, no. So what are other thing you said? Mobile MDK.
mobility, mobile SDKs, mobile services are part of the UI development. So it entirely becomes entirely a different game where we talk about mobile services, mobile push down, how you can write native apps, right, using mobile services, mobile cards, right?
Is it same as MDK or it's a different altogether?
It's derived from the MDQ side.
Okay.
Okay, so it's extension versions of that, right? Then we have process automation. So this I have already explained, right? So what kind of things comes up, and your workflows are just part of it. So
So
now
process automation again, it's a total build, SAP build.
this is your lot of services are there. You can see here, lot of services are there. So what we cover up here is this build process automation. Ultimately, it is a UI only, sorry, workflow only. But now what they have done is they have just combined some of the services like RPA and the workflows.
No,
The
business process automation is nothing but IRPA basically, which has its own workflow, but that doesn't comes under a BTP workflow. That is altogether different, I think so.
The BTP workflow is now getting retired. It becomes a part of the process automation only.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what I mean to say is, definitely BTP workflow is getting retired and they are moving it. Then simply what they're doing is they want to make a product called SAP Build with a combination of IRPA and workflow and I think work zone. And I think three or maybe one more is there. So these all combined, then combining and then making it as a build as a product, mostly no code, low code as a tool. Okay.
Right.
So in that, if you talk about IRPA, it has its workflow. Okay. Wherein we add some steps which actually connects, like it's kind of a BDC. In ABAP we used to write BDCs. So it's kind of replacement, like it's kind of screen recording. Whatever we record it and we automate it. So that is called IRPA, which they rename it as a build process automation.
Yeah, so sorry to cut you in between. This IRPA, if you are from the UI path background, right? So that has actually been derived from there itself, right? So it is exactly BDC what you have mentioned, but into the cloud side, right?
Yeah, correct.
And what SAP has done is they are consolidating some of these services and put it into the build process automation so that you can get a better pricing, better costing for the customer, right? So earlier you used to take two different licensing for that. So IRPA and the workflow, now they are just consolidating it. And going forward, you will see more and more such things as well. It has, from functionality wise, it doesn't make much difference, but when we deal with clients, right, so who are more cost sensitive, then all these things comes up into the picture. So these are the
definitely
things that
I think SAP build altogether as a whole package, SAP build altogether you can take separate training, I think so. And I think that is
what I'm saying. I'm just going through some of the things that I can take, right?
Okay.
Only so process automation, one part of it, and so this your CAM environment. I cannot take KAIMA. I'm not taking that, right? So security I can take, right? All these things, right? And there is a user experience part. These are some of the things that I can take, right? Now, the only thing is, because still I'm not very much clear what exactly you are looking for. So if you can drop a note to sign that these are the topics that I'm looking for, right? Then I can create a, because for Ashish, I'm clear because he needs a generic overview and all, right? So I don't want to cover up some of the things which you're already aware, and then come up with the plan. So instead of that, what are the essentials for you? Well, these are the must-haves you want, right? And I will see how much I can cover up, right? Where there because BTP is
See,
such a vast.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. See, both cannot be, you cannot combine because his intention and his approach. I mean, his topics are different. My topics are totally different. Definitely, we cannot merge in a single batch. So that you first decide, like if you want to combine, then I need to drop off because I think he definitely
So
need
that's
what is BTP
the
and all those
purpose
stuff.
of this call. The purpose of this call to address some of these queries, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So the thing is, I understand because right from the beginning I was clear that you are my target audience. I'm dealing with 3 different audience, right? So I cannot merge that in one particular group, right? So still I was trying to figure out whether there are
Yeah.
any commonalities. There are not, right? So
Mhm.
that's why I'm for last 40 minutes we are discussing, right? So
Yeah.
that is what
So
I'm
that's what,
saying.
see,
If
that's what, see,
you think,
if you want to cover, if you want to provide any training to me, then I have very specific topics. Maybe as you said, like maybe a workflow and CAPM combination I may need. On workflow, I don't need like IRPA and all. IRPA I don't need. I know IRPA. So IRPA I don't need, but yeah, workflow, BTP workflow, which means like we have workflow in SAP ABAP, right? So the kind of replacement they have provided to SAP BTP workflow. So that workflow I'm looking for, not IRPA. I am again saying this.
I got your point,
Yeah,
Ramana, right?
yeah.
So you are more interested into the BTP workflow. That is okay. What I
Mm-hmm.
need from you is give
Mm-hmm.
me the topics that
Yeah,
you need absolutely,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Sure,
I
sure.
talk to Sai that okay, these are the topics, these are gonna be the rates. If
Mm-hmm.
we find it mutually beneficial, we can continue. Otherwise, we will leave it, right?
Yeah, yeah. See, those part
That's the
we'll discuss.
that's
Yeah,
how
yeah,
it
ma-
works, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah,
Yeah,
so that's the only
yeah.
thing, because in your case, there is no standard course,
yeah.
right? So
Correct,
you're picking topic from here and there, and then so it will be a tailored course,
correct,
and tailored
correct, correct,
course is always one-to-one. It never goes into the batch.
correct, correct.
That's the common sense, right? So we are not talking about a batch here. We are more talking about understanding your needs, what exactly you want. If
Yeah.
these are the topics, if you're clear with your topics, share it with Sai. Sai's
Mm-hmm.
gonna share it with me, and then we can define a course. Okay, like out of this, if you have let's say 10 different topics, and out of 10 topics, I can take 8. Right? I will be straight upfront to you that okay, I can take 8. Now you tell me whether you want to continue or not. Right?
Sure, sure,
So
sure, sure.
that's how it works.
Okay, okay.
So again, there will be investment of time, my time as well as your time. So we have to make sure that we respect each other's time. And if it works for both of us, then we'll continue. Otherwise, it's all open market, right? So that's how I'll be very transparent and honest. Okay, right in front. So that's why I'm doing this.
Sure,
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
Okay then. So any other questions or anything before we conclude today's call?
Not for me,
No,
no. I'll send the
Abhi,
topics. Maybe we can discuss later.
Yeah, Ashish, you have?
One more thing to add. My client is retail client. So they are going with the BTP. They are not yet started. I think the next month or upcoming within 2 to 3 months, 2 months, they're planning
Mhm.
to means already line up for SAP S4 HANA as well as they are looking for BTP. So this is where I want to take an edge for
Okay,
my client.
got it.
So this
See,
is
from
my
your side,
expectation.
yeah. So Ashish, from your side, I'm very much clear what exactly you
Okay,
need. The reason
right.
for that is you are mostly looking for a general overview of why and what, right? And
Right.
how you can take it with your client. That's the thing, right? But what
Right.
Ramana is looking into the how part also,
Yeah.
right?
Rama
So
is
then,
completely into
yeah.
technical. I do understand.
Exactly, right. So in your
Right.
case, it is more a sales pitch, right? I have
Hmm.
done BTP overview sessions with my salespeople as well, right? So
No.
entirely different mindset, like how we talk about licensing, how we do propose these
Hmm.
things, what are the benefits of that. So once you are into the client-facing role, things
Right.
becomes very flexible, very volatile, because you never know what they're going to ask, right?
Got
But when things come to Ramanna, we are very much clear that okay, workflow is to be used, right? Now the only part is why and what is over. Now let's do how part, right? So that's how we delegate these things to the development team.
Got it.
Right. So,
Right.
so for you, it is general awareness about the product, its capabilities, and what are the different use cases it can be used.
Right. Perfect.
So,
Yeah.
so in your case, I'm pretty much okay. That's not a problem.
Okay.
And it's good. You have done a retail thing, so probably I will also learn something from the retail side from you. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay then. So let's conclude now. Give me some time and. Ramana will be, you'll share your topics with Sai, and
Yeah,
Ashish will create a general overview, BTP overview plan, and share it with Sai, and we can discuss about them. Okay.
Abhi, I'm not having any particular things like Rama. I think you are
No,
well aware
I
what to
got
add.
that.
So you add it by yourself.
Yeah. I mean, it's I got that. The
Yeah.
plan that I created for the salespeople, the same plan. I'm gonna use that.
Yeah. Fine. That should be fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay then. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your
Yeah.
time, and have a nice weekend then. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
guys. Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. I'll
Bye.
catch up with you separately. Yeah.
Yeah.